Hey everyone. So we all love, the Passover Seder where we talk with our kids about the plagues, and we reenact as much as we can and make it fun. And these next couple of the parshas, this Parshas Vayera, which has 7 of the plagues, and the next one, Bo, which has 3 of the plagues, this is where it all happens. And I wanted to point out one idea, which I think is so relatable to us in our everyday lives if we apply it properly, is that if you look at the different plagues, after every one of them, something happens. Some of them, Paro begs for his life, where he says, Moses, go please talk to God and have this removed. Other ones, he stays silent, he doesn't do anything. And the question is asked, why is it that he has a different reaction to the different plagues? And if you look at them deeply, it comes out that anytime it was a plague that affected Pharaoh's actual life, his life was in danger, then all of a sudden he says, I need Moses, please pray to God to get it done. But if it didn't affect his life, even though it was destroying all his livestock, terrible boils, whatever it may be, that he was able to handle. That I'm not praying. Yeah, I know there's a God, yeah, sure, but I'm not praying for it. And I think what we see is something that's kind of makes sense, is that very often it's a life's mission to work on our emunah, our faith in God. We could believe it intellectually, yeah, I believe there's a God. But sometimes we don't necessarily actualize that thought of and belief of God into our hearts, into our actions, where we do what we're supposed to do because of that belief in God. But we'll find sometimes, a couple times a year, sometimes we'll, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, all of a sudden, we'll make those efforts. But inevitably, if God forbid we're faced with a mortal danger, someone's sick, God forbid, or something else that comes up, all of a sudden, we're praying to God, or even something that's our lives are in the balance, then there's no doubt that everyone who believes that there's a God is there praying as much as we can. It's just human. It's the human nature is that when our lives are in danger, we do that. But if you really think about it, if we take that intellectual level and say, if God is there, God is a God, He's there at dangerous times, He's also there in our lives all the time and wants us to be a part of His life all the time. And I think that's something that's a life's mission to really kind of focus on, is that let it not be when, God forbid, when we need God, that we're all of a sudden reaching out, but to recognize He's there all the time and always have the relationship and talk to God. Because that's our responsibility. But also more than that is that when those times come, because in life, inevitably there are, no one lives with a carefree life all the time, we'll have the relationship and the comfort level because of our prayer and talking to God, is that in those times, it won't be such a foreign concept. I'll have that relationship. And to understand that God doesn't need our prayers for Him. God is very, very, He's good. He's in a good spot. Doesn't need us for anything. But God provides prayer as a way for us to connect to Him because He realizes the value that it brings to our own personal lives. I think when we realize that, don't take it as a chore, but realize the opportunity to speak to God in heaven, who is the creator and master of everything and provides everything and can provide everything. And He wants us to talk to Him, to take that opportunity. It could be in synagogue, that's obviously the best way to do it, but do it as formal prayer, but also informal. Talk to Him on a personal level about things on business deals or family, or anything that is a way to talk to God, do that. So in the event where the inevitable, God forbid, should never happen, the Mashiach should come and we should never have any suffering. But when those times maybe do come, we'll have that comfort and that relationship to be able to pray to God with all of our heart. Shabbat Shalom.